Hi, I'm James from James Does Things, and in this video I want to talk to you about difficult buyers on eBay and how to deal with them as an eBay seller. Okay, so there are three specific types of difficult buyer that I want to talk about. I'm not going to go into scams in this video because I've done scams in previous videos, and maybe I'll put a card up here or up here for about the scams. But these aren't specifically scams, but these are difficult buyers that you will come across probably if you sell on eBay for any length of time. So the three types are shark. So sharks and lowballers, I would say they're sort of not quite one and the same, but they go hand in hand. You got the whingers who basically buy stuff and then complain, and then you got kind of one beyond the whinger is the kind of feedback extortionist, and they're a different level altogether. So I'll go into a bit of detail about all three of them, and how you should deal with them, and also how I actually had one of these recently, so I'll tell you a bit about that story. If you think I missed anything, or if you've had some experience like this, please leave me a comment. Let me know in the comments, and yeah, and perhaps I'll offer some advice, or maybe I'll do another video. So yeah, okay. So the first one, the sharks. Right. So sharks. When I say shark, I mean aggressive buyers, like usually aggressive lowball offer people. So they'll send you offers, but low offers, and they will send you they'll probably send you messages as well within eBay to say, hey, do you want to I'll give you £20 for this now. Like, quite sort of, I had one the other day for an iPhone, and I put it in an auction. He was like, I have £20 for you, you can have it today. You know, it was a bit condescending almost. Well, it was very condescending, given that he and I know full well that iPhone's worth at least 100. So you'll get lots of people like that. It tends to affect more valuable items and kind of popular high demand items. So that was for an iPhone. I've experienced it in the past for gold, like real gold jewelry. You know, in the kind of £300-400. I think it was a gold necklace. And the other time I've had it actually is with my Pokemon cards, like graded Pokemon cards. I'll show you what I mean. So this kind of thing. So it's not just any old Pokemon card. Like, it's one that's been slabbed, graded, authenticated, and it's worth. The ones in question were on sale for, I think, 50. People saying, I'll give you 25, I'll give you 20. It's like, no. You know, and it was the most popular card I had as well. It had the most views. It was a Pikachu, so everyone, you know, it's the one, even if you don't know about Pokemon, you've seen this little fat yellow electric hamster thing. Everyone knows what it is. You know it's worth something. So the only way to deal with these people is basically be confident, stick to your guns, be polite. Don't. That's the other thing, is whenever you send messages on eBay, you can't swear. You can't. It's best not to get emotional, and that, I think that goes for anything business related. So, you know, emails at work, anything like, you can't get too emotional. You got to stick to the facts. So, and you never know. This person might end up being a good customer. Some people will lowball you and actually, you know, like, yeah, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, and they're testing you because they know that some people, if they send out 10 offers like that, like maybe if they send 100 offers out like that, 3 people, 5 people will say, okay, yeah, look, I'm desperate for the cash. Look, just take it. Just give me whatever. So people will chance it. But you never know. They might be desperate for it, and as well, and they've got a birthday coming up or whatever, you know, child's birthday, whatever it is, and they're actually prepared to go a lot higher. So stick to your guns. Just be polite and say, look. I always say things like, it's trying, because often they tend to be savvy people. Often, a lot of the time, they are business people themselves. They're buying it cheap so that they can resell it, often on eBay, which is even more frustrating when you know that's what. If you go and look at their profile and it's like, hi, I'll give you £20 for this £100 iPhone, and then their username is like, I sell iPhones.co.uk, then that's pretty frustrating. So you're like, no. What I tend to do, instead of getting arsey with people, is just say, oh, hi, this is a new listing, let's say, if it is, or it's payday weekend coming up, things like that. Because if you think about where you are in the calendar, let's say, for instance, like now what are we on? Okay, now it's like the 11th of February, so Now for some stuff I would say, oh, it's Valentine's Day soon, you know, that's a big deal, when people buy stuff then. So I'm not in a hurry to sell it. So usually when people sell things, or when it's things like urgency, scarcity. So if you try and make out that the opposite of these, like, well, I'm not in any hurry to sell it, and there's this big opportunity coming up soon, so I think I'll be fine, you know. And you know, you can almost put the scarcity back on them and say, well, you know, Valentine's Day is coming soon, or the end of the month is coming when everyone gets their pay. I know in other countries it's different, but like in America, apparently people get paid twice a month. You get like a mini paycheck in the middle of the month, like to pay your rent with, and then the one at the end of the month is like the one you pay all your other bills or something. Here in the UK, most people either get paid weekly, you know, if it for like a lot of cash in hand type stuff, or they get paid, like most people have like a 9-to-5 job, let's say in an office or whatever, they get paid monthly, and it's usually sort of anything from, the earliest I've been paid is like the penultimate Thursday of the month or something, so it's like the 20th. Most, like now I get paid the 25th. Lots of other companies do it. It's you know, the 28th, because that's the last possible day of the month, if that makes sense. So anytime that sort of week or two towards the end of the month and the start of the next month tends to be a bigger month from a pay point of view. We can say, oh, it's the weekend coming. Excuses like that. Just say, I'm not in a hurry. There's lots of opportunities coming up. You know, you never know if you are desperate to get rid of it, or if you've had it listed for like 6 months and nobody's even looked at it, then, you know, maybe you don't mind being lowballed. Or maybe it could just be, if you think, I'm being offered £20 for this thing and I think it's worth 50, you know, I'd be happy with 50 for it, and you could send them an offer for 50, even if you got it on for 100. If they still say no, I'll give you 25. Put it in an auction. You know, it could just be the catalyst for you to say, you know what, it's not the right price and I want to get rid of it. I want to get it out of my shop. So put it on, you know, put it on an auction, but don't give in, is what I'm trying to say. So that's how you deal with sharks and lowballers. What you might find is you'll get messages back. I had this with, usually after I rejected an offer, a few times with iPhones and gold and things like that, people lie to you because they think you don't know things. And maybe you don't know things, which is why you should watch videos like this, because they'll send you a message saying, oh, you'll never get that for it, it's not worth this. Like, and the only time I've had that really badly was with a gold necklace, and I got about 3 messages, and this guy was being really aggressive, and it was a gold chain, like a unisex gold curb chain, and I got it for something like $250, and I was selling it for about $300. But the thing with gold is you know the scrap weight of it because it's made of gold, and gold has a value. You know, you can go on the internet and look up the gold value. So he was saying, oh, it's never worth that, and he was trying to buy it for, you know, like 10% below the scrap weight. Like literally, I could have walked into any shop on the high street and got 95% of the scrap value for it. So some people will be really aggressive and really try. So iPhones, gold, sometimes some other collectibles, you know, you can get it with all sorts. I suspect like things like Nike trainers, where there's like an aggressive sort of high demand for them. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of. But that's how you deal with them. Just stick to the facts, be polite, because they might end up being good customers eventually, but a lot of them won't be, and they'll just disappear. So that's how you deal with them. Okay, the second category of buyers that you need to be aware of are, we'll call them the whingers. It's possibly a bit harsh. I had one of these this week, and if I think about it, if I'm a bit more sort of honest about it, it was partly me. But at the time when I first got the message, I was like, oh my god, what are they whinging about? What is wrong with these people? But actually, it wasn't all them. There were some things I could have done. There were some things I could have done to avoid this particular situation, which were, I could have sent a message and I could have taken better photographs. There were actually 2 issues with this particular transaction, but I still managed to get away with, I didn't get any bad feedback. I gave them a small discount, and I got no negative feedback, which was and I got 90% of the money for that transaction that I aimed for. So it went as well as it could have done. The issue with this particular transaction was that it was a camera lens for £200, and I sold it, and the person bought it like midnight. So they bought it on, let's say, like Tuesday night, And I saw it on Wednesday morning, and I was like, okay. And I said it would be next day delivery, special delivery, because that's the only type of delivery that covers it for that kind of price here in the UK. But most people know that if you post it by special delivery, like, it's there before 1 p.m. the next day. So the thing is, I ordered the postage online, and when you do that with Royal Mail, they come and collect it from you the next day, and then it's next day delivery from the point they collect it. So I was almost too efficient in that I paid for the postage at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and not, if I'd paid for the postage at 4 or 5 in the evening, then that person would have known that that it wasn't going to get into the postal system on time. Then it would have been the next day, and they would have received it, let's say on a day after. So what actually happened was, the person saw let's say they bought it on the Tuesday night. Wednesday morning they saw it's been posted next day delivery, and because at that point I didn't send them a message, because most of the stuff I send is postable, so it's completely irrelevant. It just goes through the post box whether they're at home or not. This wasn't postable. This wasn't post boxable. It was a chunky box, and this lady decided to wait in for it, and she didn't send me a message. Like, I had literally the person who bought the camera lens before this, because I had 3 lenses. I still got 1 to sell. The person before it sent me a message to say, hey, I'm going to be waiting. I need to wait home for this. I don't want to basically let it come to my house, go back to the post office, and then me go collect it one day. I want to be in when it comes. Is it going to be here on this day? If I wait at home, will it turn up? And I said, in fact, no, what they actually said was, I'm at home on Thursday. Please, can you delay the postage a day and send it so it comes in? And I said, yes, no problem. And I did exactly that. I arranged collection on a Wednesday, and it was with him on a Thursday, and he was very happy. This person didn't send me any messages, which is why initially I was like, oh my God, they want the moon on a stick. So yeah, so in the end, I could have sent a message and I didn't, and so that was partly my fault. So that's how I look at it, is that when someone complains, initially your initial reaction is, oh my God, these people are morons. But then the next reaction is, well, actually, as a business owner or whatever, what can I have done to avoid that? And so I started typing a message like, yeah, well, actually, nah, and blah blah blah, and then you're like, no, delete all that. Okay, I'm very sorry. So this is how you have to look at it. Could you have avoided the situation? And again, stick to emotion-free language, stick to the facts. So I had to say, I'm very sorry that you waited in all day for this thing that didn't come. And the tracking information, she was looking at tracking information on eBay, which wasn't very detailed, because I didn't buy it through eBay. I bought it offline and then put the tracking information in. So she was getting one picture saying, oh, it's not even in the system. Why isn't it in the system? Is it fake? Have you faked everything? So that was the other thing that annoyed me, was that I was then being accused of lying about stuff, which really pissed me off. So I then had to say, look, I haven't faked anything. Just state the facts. I haven't faked anything. Here is a screenshot of the postage of me buying it yesterday morning when you received the notification. Because I bought it as a collection, it's going to be with you tomorrow, not today. I'm sorry about that. It's partly my fault. So I did then say, most people send me a message when they want it on a particular day. But then I did say, most of my items are postable, and I didn't. I could have sent you a message and I didn't, and I apologise for that. Blah blah blah. I hope you're not too inconvenienced. You may be able to arrange so you kind of state the fact and then try and sort of solve it a bit, because what you can do in this kind of situation is you can actually rearrange deliveries. So this person wouldn't have had to take another day off or do anything like that. There were ways around it, and in the end, it arrived very early the morning after, and she didn't have to kind of get a rearranged delivery. But when it did arrive, it had a scratch on which hadn't been picked up in the photographs, and it hadn't, which is kind of ironic. It's a fancy ass camera lens. But the lens wasn't obviously on when I was using it. I took the pictures on my phone, and so I then got a message saying, well, yes, it arrived fine, I didn't have to think, but look at this scratch. So again, had little things. You know, this person clearly wants something. You know, my initial reaction was, oh my god, just literally this woman wants the moon on the stick and she's never happy with anything and it's all her fault and blah blah blah. And then I actually thought, well, I did say it was in excellent condition, and it is in excellent condition apart from the scratch, and I haven't really detailed the scratch. You know, there was no reason why I didn't get a picture of the scratch. I didn't spot it. For a £200 thing, I probably should have taken a bit more care with the photos. Part of the reason I sold that whole camera and the thing was because I bought it to actually take better videos like this, and I tried making one video, and one, it didn't look very good, and two, the technology is like the not the weak link in my video making or my camera work generally. You know, it's a skill. So I thought, well, actually, I need the money more than I need this thing, so I sold it all. So basically, I took some bad pictures. That is, you know, they looked kind of fancy, but the detail wasn't there, and if I'd used my phone, I probably would have picked that up. So I was unhappy about getting aggro, but at the same time I couldn't complain. And in the back of my head, I was always thinking, one, she hasn't left me feedback yet, and I've got 100% good feedback. She could ruin that. Two, eBay's always going to side with her. Doesn't even if she like keyed it up herself afterwards, it wouldn't matter. You know, if it was perfect and brand new when she sent it, she could scratch the shit out of that and then talk to eBay, and I wouldn't have a leg to stand on. eBay would always side with the buyer. And the third thing is, it was kind, you know, I didn't do as good a job as I could have done. So in the end, I thought, right. First I thought, oh yeah, £10 discount, but it was a £200 item. So I said, okay, fine. And I didn't offer a discount. I just sent her a message saying, I'm really sorry that this didn't go as well as it should have done. I'm sorry you didn't get it on the right day, and I'm sorry about the scratch. It was purely cosmetic, and it was hard to see, but it's, you know, it's on a thing that's this big. So, and it was a thing, but it was a scratch. It was there. So I said, I'm sorry about the scratch. I'm sorry about this. I've sent you I have sent you a refund for £20. I hope this, you know, I hope it's okay otherwise, and I hope that concludes everything. Kind regards, James, and send that off. And I got a message back in the end to say, thank you very much. Yes, the lens seems fine otherwise. So she hasn't left me any feedback, which is a good thing, and I hope she doesn't. I'm probably not going to leave. I might leave her some feedback. I might just say, good communication, thanks. I might just leave it where it is. I don't want to tempt fate by, because sometimes people can leave you negative, positive feedback, because it's actually harder to leave people negative feedback than it used to be. But what you'll sometimes see on people's some sellers thing is they've got a green plus to say positive feedback, and then the message is like block capitals like avoid, this person is Satan, you know, the blah blah blah. And so yeah, so I'm happy with not getting feedback, and yeah, it's okay. So it went as well as it could have done, but the key points were take a deep breath before sending messages. Again, keep the emotion out of it. Look at yourself and look at the way you did it, and say honestly, was it avoidable? Did I do everything I could to stop that from happening? Could I have done it differently? You know, what would have stopped that happening? And in my case, it was taking better pictures and sending a message to let them know that it was going to be, you know, it was going to come on the day after and not that day. So yeah, I hope that helps. And then the last one we're going to talk about is the extortionists. So fun. Right, the extortionists. So this is the feedback extortionists, or feedback and or discount extortionists. So this is it's an extension of the whinger thing, but it's when people complain and then start demanding a discount. So it's or threaten you with negative feedback unless you give them a discount, unless you give it to them for free. I've never had this personally. I've had people imply that they want a discount and then they're not happy with things. I've never had anyone say, give me £20 off, or are you getting bad feedback? So it does happen to people. I've seen forum posts about it, and I've seen other YouTubers talk about it. If this happens to you, screenshot it. I think once the message in eBay is sent, that's it, it's sent. But in case it's not, screenshot it and report them to eBay, because as soon as they do that, then you're covered. So if they leave you negative feedback, if they send you a return and they send you an empty box, or you know, like or they break it in half and then send it back, that kind of thing, then at least you can say, you know, this person's threatened me, they're out of order. And the example I gave earlier of the woman who was complaining about the camera lens and the delivery, there was nothing. She implied that she wasn't happy, but she didn't go as far as saying, I want a discount or I want money off. I've had people in the past say, like a long time ago I sold a coin. It was a Queen Victoria crown, and the buyer wasn't happy with, there was quite a big scratch on it, and you know, it was there on the photographs, but you could say, well, is it part of the design, is it not? And obviously when they got the coin, they were like, oh, that's actually quite a big scratch, it's not what I was expecting. And they started saying, well, I want £10 off, you know, I want a £10 discount. And I said, well, no, that's a good price. So, and they returned it, which was fair enough. And there was no hassle, everyone was happy, and I sold it again later. So so just offer people returns. So if someone's not happy with something, then just say, yeah, just send it back, no problems. And in fact, sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, I'll let that go too cheaply. Yeah, please send it back. I'll, you know, and you know, give them the return address. Yeah, send it back. In some cases, again, like now, with that camera lens, the other thing was she could have, with the woman who wants to send the camera lens, or she was unhappy with the delivery and the fact they had a scratch on it. The last thing I wanted was that camera lens back. You know, I bought that camera and those lenses. Particularly lenses with a view, I bought them as a big bundle with a view to selling the lenses and keeping the camera, and in the end I decided not to keep any of it. But now, like, I've got a bill to pay at the end of the month, I want money. I won't, if she'd said give me £20 or else, you know, I would have done it, because that's what I did anyway, I gave her £20. But if she'd said give me 50, then I would have gone, no, you're not having 50, but I'll give you 20. Because I did some things wrong. So if you do get this kind of thing, if you start getting extortion, if you get people being aggressive in messages, particularly if people are abusive, just screenshot straight away, and you probably don't even need to do that, but report them to eBay. There's a button in the settings, particularly with messages, because they know that people do it. And the other thing is people who want to buy, they want you to take the transaction outside of eBay, which is asking to get scammed. So I'll do a separate video on that, because that is a different animal altogether. But there's a button down there that says like report. You know, it's in the message, in the body of the message itself. Just click there, report them, and then eBay will, you know, maybe they'll return it, and maybe you'll have to sell it again. But if you're being, sometimes you need to tell people, and people like that need to be stopped from, and maybe even kicked off eBay. So, because it's in the long run, it's like if they do it to you, then they'll do it to the next person as well. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for difficult buyers, for this video anyway. I'm sure there's other things I haven't thought of. If you've had experiences like this, or if you've had different experiences that I've not covered, please send me a message, or drop a comment in the video below and say, look, this is what happened to me, how would you deal with this, or this is how I dealt with it, and you know, this is what eBay did. So I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, have a great day. Thanks very much. Bye bye.